To the bone. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. I will start the music in a minute. All right, set you guys off with some positive vibes of the day because you know what I say. It's gonna be a what?
Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good.
I'm still waking up, y'all.
Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo. I think there's a reason, though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, y'all. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts and poison they ride. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost.
Hey.
Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive vibes are overtaken. I got patience, one day at a time. That's how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Today's gonna be a good day. I need a napkin.
Today's gonna be a good day.
What's that for? Hey, I gotta get a napkin. But good morning, guys. What are we talking about today? We're talking about consequences of our actions. How about that? I know that's a tough one because we want to always act out, but we never want to deal with the consequences, all right? Especially when the consequences are heavy and feel a little bad. Let me go grab a napkin. I'll be right back. Consequences of our actions. So when I opened up until today, because I read this book in the morning for a little positive inspiration, one thing I try to do is attend to my mind and my body when I wake up in the morning. But this morning, I woke up, I was tired. Last night was one of the first nights in the past 2 weeks about that I actually slept pretty decent. And so when I woke up this morning, oh my goodness, really? Oh, YouTube is acting out. Good morning, Hillbilly. Hopefully everybody else is not struggling as well. But this morning when I woke up, because I had such a good sleep last night, I don't know. I woke up feeling refreshed. I did. But my body is sore. It's like my knee is sore. My hips are sore. And so I decided today that I was going to take a break from my bike. I mean, I'm still on the fence with it because, once you got a routine going, it's hard to break that routine. And so If I can't skip the whole day, I'll probably ride it later if my hip and my knees are feeling better. But I noticed that I was a little achy today. And so I said, you know what? Let me just rest because, well, I don't want to overexert myself and cause an injury. And so, but I still make sure to attend to my mind and my body in the morning in small little ways. Okay. And so that's it. And that's all. But good morning, y'all. Good morning. I know I felt a little guilty about not riding my bike, so I felt like I had to say that. Good morning. So lately, I told you guys that my job has been kicking my ass. My boss has already been on my phone this morning, and I got a whole shit of stuff to do. And sometimes I feel overwhelmed with work and with the podcast and with this and with that. And so I try to balance it out. And that's why I try not to make the podcast so heavy on me, make it like a job, because I still want to enjoy it, right? I started this whole thing out as a form of enjoyment, getting people together, talking about various things, unpacking some shit, you know, just building like a village mentality amongst people, you know, a support system. And so I still enjoy it and I want to keep it that way. And so that's why I'm not as committed to the time. Sometimes I come on here at 8, sometime lately it's been very wavy, right? But I do work it in according to my schedule, right? But on the days that I just cannot mentally show up, I might not have a show that day. All right. Hopefully y'all understand that. Because sometimes life get heavy. All right. And so today is June 26th. I don't know if anybody's gonna come on this morning because I've been acting up. I've been acting up. But we have June 26th. And let me go ahead and read these positive vibes because I got a lot of work on my plate to do today. I do. Hillbilly, I meant to ask you, did you ever do the water park? Is the water park still in progress? What's happening with the water park? You know I'm nosy. It's hot as fuck outside. Do we have a water park or no? Not a water park, but you know, the river floating business? Listen. Oh, I forgot something. Be right back. I'll come back to your answer, Hillbilly. Got it. That makes perfect sense, Hillbilly. That makes perfect sense. You know, sometimes this is a perfect example of what I mean when I say lives, right? Sometimes we have a plan in our life and we put a timeline on it, and other things come in and happen, and it delays us a little bit, but it doesn't stop the show. Delays are just delays, okay? And so that I 1000% understand, Hillbilly, because I was wondering because that would have been a lot to take on. Don't worry, it's going to happen, and we're going to be here to see it. We're going to be here to see it. But keep us in the loop, Hillbilly. So for June 26th, we are talking about consequences of our actions, right? You know, the one thing that amazes me in life, and I'm guilty for it as well, right? We do shit, and then the consequences come. And then sometimes the consequences are not so pretty. And we complain about the consequences that we have to deal with based on the actions that we exercised, right? You know, I'm just gonna read what it say. I'm gonna read what it say and keep my little comments to myself, because you know I don't want to start no trouble, but I'm gonna read what it say. Okay, June 26th. I am now willing to forgive myself, because remember, June is the month of forgiveness. So everything that we talk about, we read from this book for this month is around forgiveness, right? I am now willing to forgive myself for believing that I have power to create victims. I have the power to create victims. What does that mean? We have all done something that has caused someone pain or discomfort. Often we are aware of the consequences of our actions. Then there are those times when we don't have a clue about what we've done until someone brings it to our attention. When they do, we feel bad. We believe that we must forever be indebted to the people who have been the victims of our thoughtlessness, negligence, or abuse. I'm going to pause there for a minute. How many times have you been made aware that you've hurt somebody's feelings, or you said something negative to the person and they took it the wrong way and then they spoke on it, right? Have you walked away from those conversations feeling as though you owe them something, like you're indebted to them? I mean, beyond the, of course, I apologize and hopefully changed behavior, right? But beyond that, do you feel like you're indebted to them for a long time? Like forever indebted? Because they were the victims of our thoughtfulness, of our thoughtlessness, rather, right? Negligence or abuse. I mean, I'm not going to lie. My mouth is flighty. It definitely is flighty. And so I have been told that I hurt people's feelings, or I say stuff that they're offended by. And I just say it, right? And not thinking that it's offensive or whatever the case may be. And, a long time ago, I used to be that person that said, "You've done it, hillbilly." Okay. A long time ago, I used to be that person that used to say, "Well, that's how the fuck I say shit." But I'm not hurt anymore, because that's, a part of healing, right? And being aware of other people's feelings. And so now, just more recently, someone checked me and said I said something that bothered them, or they felt, had some kind of offense from. And inside my head, I was like, really? Like, I play so much. Like, I didn't think it was serious. And then inside my head, I also said, who am I to invalidate somebody else's feelings? Whether I didn't mean it, or whether I meant it or not, whether this is how I speak or not, it affected somebody, right? And so I sat and I marinated with that for a minute. I know it seemed like I marinated for a long time, but that process went quick. And I apologized. I did. I apologized, right? And and from that point on, it makes me aware of how I say stuff to that particular person, because everybody might not take what I say the same way. Like, I could have said the same thing to another person and not hurt their feelings. But this particular person was offended by something I said. And so I apologize for it. And so I know that the consequence of my actions was him calling me the fuck out and me having to adjust. Oh, hillbilly, we're twins. Can I just say, hillbilly, I hate complainers. Not a complainer that, okay, you something happened and you complained about it. Okay, that's fine. But a person that constantly complains about the same shit over and over and over, or a person that just complains about everything. I think when I hold my tongue, I chew it until it almost bleeds. It irritates the fuck out of me, right? So I get it. Good morning, Cheryl. I get it, hillbilly. It irritates the fuck out of me. Okay? But long story short, after I apologized, I didn't feel indebted forever. The fuck? I apologized, right? But I am conscious going forward how to handle, my delivery with that particular person. Right, hillbilly? Exactly. Okay, let's go on. Let's continue reading this. Okay, we are talking about consequences of our actions. You cannot see people as victims of something you have done. If you do, they will allow you to continue to feel bad. Oh my God. You know people that play victim, like you do something to them, right? You apologize to them. You move in an apologized state, but yet they still bring up that same old shit. This says you cannot see people as victims of something you have done. If you do, they will allow you to continue to feel bad. Have y'all ever had a person in your life that continue to bring up old raggedy shit to constantly make you feel bad for some shit that you did that you might have apologized for more than once? Listen, I had one of them or a few of them. Like, no matter the fuck that you apologize to them, every fucking argument, dumb bitches will bring that same raggedy shit up. You be like, what? You gonna hold me hostage? You gonna play victim for the rest of your funky fucking life over something I said and I apologize for? Those are the kind of people that you just want to say, fuck you. I'm not gonna apologize to you because it doesn't help. Right? There are just a population of people that want to live in a victim state and hold you accountable forever for the shit that you have done, even though you have apologized, even though you have changed behavior. Every fucking argument will go back to that old raggedy shit. I have had some of those, and let me tell you something. No matter how hard I worked, okay, that old raggedy shit was brought up every chance they could get. And so I said, wait a minute. This obviously is not a healthy relationship because this person is always going to be playing victim over some shit that I thought we discussed and got the fuck past. Okay? Now, the one thing I've learned in my life is that I don't have patience for people that fucking keep bringing up shit that we discussed. We had closure to, so I thought. And if you didn't have closure at the time we discussed it, you should have fucking said it. But once we discuss it and we close the gap on that conversation, it irritates the fuck out of my ass when people bring up old raggedy shit and play victim forever. Forever. Guess what I do? I start eliminating those motherfuckers out of my life because you're not going to hold me hostage for no old raggedy shit. You're not. Okay? You cannot see people as victims of something you have done. If you do, they will allow you to continue to feel bad. You cannot see people as victims of who you were or of who you are. If you do, you are declaring yourself to be more powerful than you have a right to be in anyone's life. Seeing someone as your victim says that you are somehow responsible for what people believe and do. Thinking this way or feeling this way is going to cause you a tremendous amount of grief unnecessarily. You know, there we go. The motherfuckers that live in victim state, right? And try to make you feel bad forever. How could you be happy in situations like that? Regardless of the impact your actions have on anyone, they are not your victim. Think of it this way. We are all dancers in the ballroom of life. We are all dancers in the ballroom of life. Some of us are accomplished dancers. Some of us can't find the beat. When you ask someone to dance, they, not you, choose whether or not they will dance with you. If you step on their toes, ask for forgiveness. Don't buy them a new pair of shoes. If the experience leaves them with the impression that life is not worth dancing, ask for forgiveness. That's all you could do. Good morning, mother. Ask for forgiveness. Do not spend the rest of your life trying to force them to dance again. Baby. baby. That used to be me. I used to, if I victimized somebody or hurt somebody's feelings or whatever, I would be, after I apologized for what I said or what I did, I would try to bring some joy into their life. You know what I'm saying? But I don't do that anymore, right? Because you become a slave to somebody that's constantly playing a victim, right? It says, do not spend the rest of your life trying to force them to dance again. You have no victims. Ask for forgiveness. That's it. That is your responsibility. That is it, and that is all. If you do something to somebody and it hurts them, you ask for forgiveness. It is not for us to invalidate somebody else's feelings. But once we ask for forgiveness, it is on the other person at that time to accept it or not and figure out how they're going to navigate through the rest of their life with that. It is our responsibility to forgive, right? Ask for forgiveness and move with change behavior. That is our responsibility, right? But the other person, they might try to play victim over that situation for the rest of your life. You have done your work. You have apologized. You are operating in change behavior. Do not live underneath the umbrella of somebody playing victim. Okay? It says, regardless of the impact of your actions have on anyone, they are not your victim. Think of it this way. We are all dancers in the ballroom of life. Some of us accomplish dances. Some of us can't find the beat. When you ask someone to dance, they, not you, choose whether or not they will dance with you. If you step on their toes, ask for forgiveness. Don't buy them new shoes. Okay? If the experience leaves them with an impression that life is not worth dancing, ask for forgiveness. Do not spend the rest of your life trying to force them to dance again, baby. They speaking to me because this used to be me. I hate to see people sad. And when people play victim around me, I try to push them. I try to motivate them. I try to get them to dance again. But this is a reminder that do not spend the rest of your life trying to make somebody else the fuck dance. It's not your responsibility. You have no victims. Ask for forgiveness. Your responsibility is to ask for forgiveness and to move with changed behavior. Okay? Don't allow anybody to play victim in your life and constantly bury you with actions that you have asked for forgiveness for and you are moving in changed behavior. Make amends if you can, right? Then walks away. Baby, I'm good at that these days. I will make amends. I'll say sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. And then I will ghost you. Right? Because if you going to constantly throw some old raggedy shit in my face, I will ghost you. Because there's going to be no healthy relationship there. Because every time we have a disagreement, I got to hear about you playing victim to some shit that I already asked for forgiveness for. Until today, you may have believed that you would be forever indebted to others. Just for today, acknowledge those times you have been thoughtless, negligent, or abusive to others. Forgive yourself. Ask for forgiveness, then continue to dance. See, me, in these days and times, I operated in both ways. If I offend someone that I care about, I apologize, right? And I ask for forgiveness and I move with change behavior, right? That's me. On the flip side, if someone constantly is hurting my feelings, being mean, doing whatever, not caring about me, my ass waltzes the fuck away. I can't have them kind of people in my life. Okay? Because I am a human fucking being and I'm going to make mistakes, right? But forgiveness is the key. And if someone is unable to forgive you, and they want to live in a victim state, walk the fuck away. Today, I am devoted to forgiving my errors and to acknowledging that there are no victims in my life. How about that? How about that? Now, I know that that's a controversial read because some of us have been mistreated in relationships and we feel victimized, right? We do, right? But we're not saying that you're not a victim. You just, but what I'm capturing from this book is that you're not their victim, because that gives another person too much power. Cheryl said, how long should it be important to respect that person process and give support while they are healing? That's a great question. And that's going to be different for everybody. But Shirley, let me just say this. Based on personal experience, you can still be healing, but not act like a victim, right? Like you can still be in a healing mode, but holding someone hostage to something that they did to you, and I'm laughing inside, Shirley, you know why. Because I know where you going, right? Holding someone, playing a victim, right, and holding you hostage for the rest of your life, what is that going to change? They could if they have asked for forgiveness, if they are moving with change behavior, right? What makes you constantly bring up the thing that happened long ago that they asked for forgiveness for, right? I feel like in my own experience, I have navigated through my healing process without bringing up, without openly acting like a victim. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Internally, I've had my own battles with people, okay? And baby, I just faced one this last weekend where I felt like, for years, I felt like I was the victim, but I didn't move as a victim, right? I didn't constantly, regurgitate these things in arguments or constantly bring these things up or whatever. I dealt with them inside. Once the person asked me for forgiveness, once the person is trying to move and change behavior, then I have to work on my internal feelings, right? But to hold them hostage, that's another thing. But Shirley, I'm giggling inside, and you know why. I don't know. Hillbilly said, victims were first willing opponents. It's now until after the conflict that they become victims. I need you to elaborate on that, Hillbilly. What do y'all think about what Hillbilly said? Good morning, Pat. Victims were first willing opponents. Willing opponents as victims or just willing opponents, right? Because I'm going to tell you, I didn't know I was a willing victim. The fuck? I didn't. I didn't. What do y'all think about Hillbilly's statement? Pat, we are talking about the consequences of our actions. And in the read today, we talked about being a victim. Victims of the bank were first holders of mortgages. That's a good one because we That's a good one. Right? But I was a victim of a bad mortgage. But what did I do? I didn't play victim. I just refinanced. The fuck? Right? That's a way of saying, I'm sorry. Let me get my shit together. Right? But I didn't hold them that situation hostage. Where did I put my book? Where did I put my book? It says, thinking this way Having someone in your life playing victim and you feeding into it, you trying to force them to dance and you trying to make them happy and you trying to do all these things because they made you feel, and I'm talking Cheryl Lee, the victim, the person that's playing the victim, right? The person that's playing the victim holds the other person hostage even after they ask for forgiveness and even after they're moving with change behavior. How long should that person that has changed their behavior and asked for forgiveness consistently be drawn into the victim mentality? That's what I'm asking. How long? Because nothing will ever change. If that person has asked for forgiveness and is moving with change behavior, what more do you expect from them? What more do you expect from them? Good morning, Reginaldo. What more do you expect from them? And if you can't deal with the person anymore because being in their presence re-triggers that thing that caused you to feel like a victim, then waltz away. That's what the fuck I did. Waltz away. Friends, family, what the fuck ever. You're not going to hold me to being a victim forever. Hillbilly says zero or nada, no time for victimhood. Right. And I'm not saying that I don't do raggedy shit, because I do sometimes. But when somebody tell me that it was raggedy shit and it hurt their feelings, I'm going to apologize. And I'm going to handle that person differently. Because I know that that particular thing hurt them or bothered them. But after I say I'm sorry and I move on with change behavior, motherfucker, don't be throwing that shit up in my face trying to hold me hostage like I'm going to owe you the rest of my fucking life and all the blood in my body. That is not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And I have lost people over the last couple of years that do that. And it's a trigger for me, right? And so now I know what my tolerance levels are. I'm going to say fucking sorry. If I care about you, I'm going to say fucking sorry. And I'm going to mean it. Because I care about you. But I'm not going to live underneath the victim mentality. You know, I remember something my son said to me so many years ago, right? When he was in a situation, in a relationship, and he didn't want to go back to that relationship. And I was like, why? I was like, go back. What do you mean you don't want to go back? And he said, I cannot deal with the victimization. I cannot deal with the things that I have done in the past and I have apologized for, and it constantly gets thrown in my face like I'm a slave to the shit that I fucked up in the past, and I'm constantly living like that. So I got to leave, because I cannot live under the umbrella of constantly being thrown the error of my ways in my face, even though I'm trying to change and do better. He felt stifled. So he was like, I'm waltzing my fucking ass away. And at the time, I didn't understand that. I was like, you are wrong. You need to live in that space for a little while. But you know what? Once I thought about it, I said, fuck that. If you are willing to change and you ask for forgiveness, nobody shall hold you hostage for that. Forever. And if they choose to do that, then you have a choice. There's a consequence to every action. We're talking about consequences of our actions, okay? And one of the things I realized amongst humans, including myself, we don't always like the consequences of our actions. We do shit, and then when the consequences come down, we be like, what? There's consequences to every action. How we deal with those consequences is on us. Cheryl Lee said, in my opinion, victims or opponents are sometimes in a power imbalance or didn't have info for consent. I agree with that. I agree with that. But after that, if the person that caused the grief or the imbalance, right, has apologized and is moving in changed behavior, do you still hold them? Do you still act like a victim and hold them accountable for the things that they said sorry for? And they are moving with changed behavior? Do you still hold them to the fire for the stuff that they asked for forgiveness for? Hillbilly said, yes, Cheryl, but they choose to proceed. It's almost like red flags, right? I know, Deb. I wasn't going to come on today because I was going into the office, but I decided to stay home because I have meetings up till 5, and I didn't want to get stuck in the office. And I do have a lot of work to do. So when I jump off of here, it's going to be all pinned to my computer for the rest of the day. Yes, indeed. Any other comments around victimization? This is consequences of our actions. I'm Debbie. And today's read talked about when you do something to somebody and they're offended, right? Sometimes people that have apologized, right? The victim who is offended by what you did tries to hold you hostage for the rest of your life for something that you did, right? They'll constantly throw in your face something that you've done to them, even though you've asked for forgiveness, right? How long do you think that you should live in this particular situation after you have asked for forgiveness and is moving in changed behavior? That's a good one, Cheryl. That's a good one. Hillbilly, what about people that are victims of abuse? Cheryl, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. Okay, the abuser apologizes and moves with changed behavior, right? Do you hold them responsible for the rest of their life for the abuse they caused on you? How long should that person live under the demise of the victim holding them hostage, even after they apologized? That's a good question, Cheryl. Because, baby, after abuse, even after the person apologizes, right? That person that was abused has a lot of unpacking and healing to do. And they're still trying to unpack that shit. So how does that person unpack it without holding the other person responsible, which gives off the air of victimization? But they're trying to heal. How does that person navigate through this? That's a good question. Hillbilly said they know what situation they are in. They can choose to leave, call police, or otherwise fight back. Baby, it took me a while to figure this out. Hillbilly, I lived in that abuse state for a while. And then one day I said, hold up, the fuck is going on here? I chose them to leave. Because you're not going to fucking keep holding shit over my head. Debbie said, oh, okay, sometimes people love holding stuff over your head, even though you have apologized sincerely. I think at some point, you yourself and the causer might need to realize you won't be forgiven. Then if you're not going to be, then you know what? That is a great point, Debbie. Then people need to be honest. When you ask for forgiveness for someone, how many of y'all have openly said, okay, I hear you, but I'm not going to forgive you? How many of y'all have said that? I need to know. How many of y'all were honest enough to say to the person, I am not going to forgive you for the shit that you asked for forgiveness for. And then if you don't forgive them, what is your next step? If you decided not to forgive them, what is your next step? What is your next step? So 2 questions. How many people on here have openly said to someone, I do not forgive you. I do not accept your apology. I'm thinking myself, Hillbilly said, me. You've told somebody that, Hillbilly? And what was their response? Because I mean, it's your right. You know, that's another good point. You don't always have to be forgiven. But what do you do after that? Do you still maintain a relationship with that person, knowing deep down inside that you did not forgive them for what they did, knowing that at any point you might bring up that situation, and that person will have to live under the demise of that issue for the rest of their life, even though they ask you for your forgiveness. Once you decided that you are not going to forgive that person, what steps are you going to take? You said your mother. Hillbilly, I'm not arguing with you. I understand. Cheryl Lee said, it isn't always that simple for some at Hillbilly. It also can be a mental state from the abuse that keep them from making those choices. Research the abuse of women to see the different dynamics. Listen, I had a girlfriend who lived under abuse, and she definitely has an abuse syndrome. I don't know what the name of it is, but she has an abuse syndrome, right? Listen, it is sad. It was so sad that I had to disconnect the friendship from this person, because I can't even be a witness to the shit. Debbie said, also, it depends on what was done. Some things take more time than others, and some things are simply unforgivable for people. And if I'm not forgiven, I have to respect that and walk away. But that's the problem, Debbie. That's great. Respect that and walk away, baby. But there are a population of people that will stay in a space where they know that they're not forgiven. And they will try to cause that person to dance. They will try to shower that person with everything to make them forgive them. And then you that are acting out your sorriness and you thirsting for constant forgiveness from this person, puts you in a very precarious position. It puts you in an unhappy place. It puts you in a place where you're constantly fighting for this person to forgive you. No, you don't have any control over that. You only have control over asking for forgiveness and changing your behavior. If that person cannot forgive you, then what? Walk away. In my opinion. Why are you holding yourself hostage to catering to somebody else that's never going to forgive you? Pat said, I said that also. I ended our romantic relationship without hate. I just decided that he was not for me. That's it. That's it, Pat. That's it. I ended my last relationship without hate. I was very disgusted, but I don't hate him, right? He just ain't for me. Because, nigga, you are not going to have me in here constantly kissing your black ass over something I said sorry for. If you can't forgive me, be honest and say you can't forgive me, and then let's move the fuck on. But you're not going to hold me hostage. You're not going to play victim for the rest of your fucking life and hold me hostage, causing me unhappiness. It ain't going to fucking happen. We got to figure out how to move past it or walk the fuck away. In my opinion. Now, I know, Cheryl Lee, that there are a lot of situations that's different because of psychological problems, like you mentioned, abuse. That one takes a little bit more work, right? Because there is a such thing as an abuse syndrome. Again, I don't know the name of it, but you see it in little kids, right? You see little kids that are abused by their parents, but they cling on to their parents. They love their parents. They grow up with that victim mentality, and that plays out in their adult life. And sometimes they have to spend years unpacking that shit. Oh, baby. That part. Fear kills the mind. It'll make your decisions fucked up. Yes, that's it. That's it, hillbilly. Munchausen's by proxy. That's it. You always use that word, hillbilly. You had me look it up one time because I was like, what the fuck? That's it. What about people that suffer from Munchausen's by proxy? Now, if I'm with somebody that has this, then it's bigger than me. Right? It's bigger than me. So, Debbie, this is a good point. Yes, I work with those population of kids. They cling to their abusers, right? How do you think this plays out for these kids into their adult lives? Right? How do you think this plays into these kids' adult lives? How does this show up in their adult lives? And you, as their friend or significant other, how do you manage someone that has Munchausen disease, if I said it right? How do you handle that? Even with therapy? Yes, hillbilly. Anger, repeated cycles, dysfunctionality. All of these things play out in the adult lives. When you recognize that in your adult friends and in your significant other, what steps do you take to navigate through that relationship when someone is suffering with this? What responsibility do you take on if you have a friend or a significant other that suffers with Munchausen's? How do you navigate through this? What advice would you give somebody else that is dealing with this, right? Because I can imagine somebody living under the demise of constantly apologizing for victimizing somebody. How could either of them be happy? Like, you've ever been in a relationship or had a friendship where you get into an argument about a spoon being in the sink and they turn around and be like, 2 years ago when you did so-and-so, you like, what? Why are you talking about that? I thought we were arguing about the spoon in the sink. Why would you go back to 2 years ago? I thought we addressed that situation. I thought we were past that situation. And then you find yourself arguing about a situation that happened 2 years ago and never getting through the current argument of the spoon being in the sink. How do you get past it? See, that's what was happening to me in my last relationship. We could never resolve current issues. So they were just piling up because every time a current issue occurred, the motherfucker would go back to an issue that happened donkeys years ago. And I'll be like, what? I can't fight an old issue. I can't force you to dance. I can't force you to forgive me, but people need to be fucking honest. When you have a conversation with someone and you apologize for something, be fucking honest and just say, listen, I hear you. I hear that you're trying to apologize, but I don't fucking forgive you. And then the other person can make up their mind whether they want to stay and deal with the shit or fucking leave, right? You're a human, so you're going to make mistakes, but you don't have to be held hostage for the rest of your life. Hillbilly said, arguing every day teaches our kids to expect it in their relationships. This is the shit I be talking about. Toxic behaviors that we normalize, right? People that argue in their houses in front of their kids and shit like that. The kids grow up, in some cases, thinking that this is normal, right? Thinking that it's normal. Is it? Toxic behaviors that we normalize that are not normal. Yes, Shirley, Hillbilly always bring that Munchausen's word here. I got a good one. You know, being that I dealt with a lot of Hooskow years, jail, that is the one offense that motherfuckers that get locked up, some of these motherfuckers that get locked up will try to play victim, right? Because they don't want to accept the consequences of their actions, right? And they will play victim. And then the loved ones that are trying to support them through it suffers because these people are playing victim and complaining and try to make you feel bad about their situation. They're not thinking that there's consequences of every action. And then the people that are out here trying to support them constantly have to deal with everyday complaints, trying to make them happy, trying to keep them calm. That's a lot of pressure. People have to understand there's a consequence to every action. Hillbilly said it's normal equals Munchausen's. Y'all, this is something to think about. This is something to think about. I know for sure. I no longer have people. Where's my fan? I no longer have people in my life that throw up old raggedy shit in my face because I'm not going to tolerate it. If you don't forgive me, say that. Let's move on from the truth. And that's the message today. I don't have my fan here, y'all. That's the message today. Something to walk away with. Consequences of our actions. And playing victim. And being held hostage to a victim. We don't have that much power. That's what this says. We don't have that much power to have victims. That's what the read says. Right? What was the conversation, Debbie? What was the conversation about? Whew. What the? Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Debbie. I'm having a hot flash. What the? Oh my God. Hillbilly, what you got to say about this one? I need someone to chime in on this one. What y'all got to say about this one? Her ex-boyfriend shot her a number of times, and a friend of hers was present, was shot as well. And she lost her life, unfortunately. Wow. Wow. What do y'all have to say? Cheryl Lee, that's deep. That is deep. Now, how does this little girl from this mother navigate through the rest of her life with this? And how does this woman, Debbie, with the ex-boyfriend who did this, navigate with the rest of her life? Debbie said, so when asked why do she think he shot her and retaliated in the way that he did, her response was, not to think more highly of myself, but it's the girl, and I'm a dying breed. So he was upset I was leaving him and he would be stuck with someone basic. That's the reason he shot her, she said, because she was leaving and she thinks so highly of herself that he shot her because he would end up with someone basic. That's just called fucking crazy. I don't know what the fuck that's called. That's called fucking crazy. Good morning, Brandilla. I kind of get what you're saying, Debbie. You're saying that she was going to leave him, but she thought she was that girl. She was that bitch. She thought highly of herself, and she felt like he got mad because he was going to lose this diamond in the rough and end up with some kind of cubic zirconia, so he fucking shot her. What do y'all call that? Crazy. Crazy. Because even if that was true, did she deserve to be shot? How do they navigate through the rest of their life after experiencing this? What do you think is the victim's responsibility in this particular case, right? If we're saying that the person that caused the harm asks for forgiveness and should not be constantly held as hostage to the victim, what is the victim's responsibility in all of this? I need an answer. What is the victim's responsibility? What is the victim's responsibility? Deb said, and it didn't appear that it was much concern about the friend who was there to support her, who actually died, leaving a daughter with no mother now. I was flabbergasted. You know, Cheryl Lee, I wanted to know that too. Did she say why she was leaving him? That's a good question. That's a good question. Hillbilly said, when a man loses his mind over a woman, this has often been the case. A woman is often to blame. You know how many men are sitting in the hooscow for pussy? Let's be real. How many men are sitting in a hooscow for pussy? What is the victim's responsibility? I mean, there's women in jail for dick too. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. Right, Cheryl? Damn it. Right. Because who had the mental issue? Him or fucking her? He shot. Okay, he shot and killed her friend. But who? They both had mental issues because I don't know. The statement of, I'm that girl and he was going to end up with somebody basic, bitch. You ain't the only that girl out there. What's the victim's responsibility? These men are not respecting their circle of influence. Do they have a circle of influence? That's a question. Thank you, Hillbilly. Everybody give the thumbs up. Hillbilly is watching. These men are not respecting their circle of influence. Do they have a circle of influence? That's a great question. When you're out there dating in the streets, right? Because Brandela's been on this circle of influence, which is a great, great question, a great statement, right? When you're out there dating and you're making new friends, right? Do you pay attention to their circle of influence? See, I do now. I pay attention to the circle of influence, right? Because this is something that Angel always said. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, right? And so the circle of influence is important. Do you pay attention to the circle of influence these people have in their lives? That's a great point, Brandilla. Hillbilly said 9 times out of 10, she manipulated and betrayed him. Oh, I thought that was for the thumbs up. I got it. Brandilla said, your circle of influence is the thing you can control yourself, not others. I love it. What do y'all think is the victim's responsibility? Nobody answering that question. Good morning, Angel. What is the victim's responsibility? You must have heard me call your name. Brandilla said, to recap, circle of influence is the concept that refers to things that an individual has control over, such as their behavior, attitudes, and actions. Are we paying attention of the circle of influence? This is to the girl whose man shot at her and killed her friend. Sounds like she used him and may be very selfish and a shallow person. Debbie, you know this person. Give us what you think. Give us what you think happened, Debbie. Because this sounds hella crazy. Consequences of our actions. What is the victim's responsibility? Have you ever been victimized in situations, and what is your responsibility? So for me, I've been victimized, and my responsibility was to get peace. If I couldn't forgive the person and I couldn't live in that space, then I'd walk away. And then I would navigate my life through a healing process to work through what happened and to figure out my feelings and emotions towards what happened, and no longer accept that from anybody else that comes into my life. That is my responsibility. The victim has a responsibility to walk away and adjust themselves and not invite or introduce people into their lives that offends them, right? And when it happens, we handle it in a way that either we're going to navigate towards forgiveness or we're going to walk away. The victim has a responsibility here, in my opinion. Debbie says she is young for sure, Miss Cheryl. I just met her last night on the phone, but her response automatically told me it was definitely more to that story. It is a lot more to that fucking story. It sounds crazy. Cheryl Lee gave the answer to what is the victim's responsibility. Heal thyself, period. You can't have the person that caused the offense heal you. It's not going to work. All they can do is ask for forgiveness and move with changed behavior. It is up to the victim to move towards healing thyself. But there's a population of people that are held hostage to people playing victim for the rest of their lives. Why? It is the victim's responsibility to heal thyself. You have control over what you accept in your life and how you're going to navigate through that. I can't imagine playing victim comes with a healthy mental state, right? Because a victim, in my opinion, will constantly relive those negative aspects in their life without any end game. How is that a quality of life? Why isn't the victim and fought back? I don't understand that, hillbilly. I know we're typing and shit. Why are they the victim and did they fight back is what you're asking? Why wasn't he considered the victim? Great. Now, hillbilly, that's a good question. Debbie, why wasn't the shooter the victim? He could be. He could be. You can have multiple victims, right? Did he suffer manipulation and betrayal? Mm. And is his reaction a consequence of actions that she projected? I don't know. Not to say it was okay for him to shoot, right? But you're right, hillbilly. He might have been in fight and flight mode at that time and flipped out. And as a consequence to our actions, we don't know the whole story. And like Debbie said, there's more to the story. He can absolutely be the victim, hillbilly, right? You can have multiple victims in situations. But what is the victim's responsibility? As Cheryl Lee said, to heal thyself. And if we don't navigate towards healing ourselves and we pull out a gun and we shoot, there's a consequence to our actions. Someone's dead now. He's in jail. And even though he might be the victim, look where it has landed him. The victim's responsibility is to heal thyself. Walk away from situations and work on healing yourself. Right? That's a great point, hillbilly. Right, Cheryl Lee, you said the same thing. What did she do? Did she trigger him? These are consequences of our actions. Hillbilly said, to end the abuse at all costs if your mind is in fear. Mm. 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 This gave me food for thought. It did, y'all. But I'm happy because when I read this, I'm in such a different place than I was last year and the year before in my life. And no matter how life is lifing, I'm actually a pretty happy person, right? Because, when my life was not in a struggle like financially or whatever, or filled with mental weight, I was still unhappy, right? Because I was living in a space where I was a victim of something and I wasn't taking the time to heal because I couldn't heal in the space that I was being victimized in. And so my responsibility as the victim was to change that, right? Because I too might have been in a hooscow if they could have kept pushing my damn buttons, right? Just like the barbecue I just went to on Saturday, I was a victim of something very nasty. that occurred, right? And I had to step into the room with people that knew of this situation. And I had to navigate through that, right? And I didn't know how I was going to feel when I got there. I didn't know if the old feelings of being victimized by a situation was going to come up. But baby, walking into that space has given me another reason to put a check mark in my life, right? Because that's when I knew. That's when I knew, when I entered a space around people that I felt victimized by, I didn't feel it at all. Because you know why? I worked on healing myself, right? These people don't owe me nothing. I am responsible for my life, right? And they're not in my friendship circle. We just have mutual friends. And so they're not a part of my life. And that brings me peace and a sense of joy. And that allows me to walk into the same space with them and be just as peaceful. Because the victim is responsible to heal thyself. Right? Sometimes situations can trigger you to a point, maybe to what this guy did. It ain't right. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But there's consequences to our actions. We don't know what that girl did. And he might have been the victim, hillbilly. We don't know. You and Cheryl called that out. And even Debbie said something smelled fishy in the water during a conversation they were having. You know, I always say there's 3 sides to every story. His side, her side, and then the truth. Sometimes we never hear the truth and we don't know. We're just left with assumptions. Baby, what a message, right? Hopefully you guys will walk away with this message and think about the people in your life, or even how you're feeling about the people in your life, right? If you are navigating your life as a victim, ask yourself, what are you doing to navigate through those feelings, right? Also ask yourself, do I still have these people in my life, and do they belong there? Victims have a responsibility. Because there's a consequence to all of our actions. Good food for thought, right? All right. So moving out of the topic, FYI, I sent an email out. I have not gone back and checked my emails because work has been busting my ass. But I will go back and check my emails. But I did send an email out indicating that the 2024 end of summer soiree, Coffee with Friends, was being postponed to another date. So hopefully you guys got that email or whatever from me. And Avia is going to respond on top of that email. She probably did. I know she was traveling, but I have to go back and follow up on that email. So as I navigate through organizing the new trip, we will start putting out the information. I'm going to try to target the Virgin Islands. I'm changing the location and everything. So I'm going to try to target the Virgin Islands, right? St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, maybe places like that. I'm going to target those first. The only thing is that, you know, being that I'm looking for an all-inclusive, all-adult resort, we might be limited. Some of the islands and the resorts are very expensive depending on the island that we're going to, right? Even maybe try Puerto Rico. That's another nice place to go. I think they have some all-inclusive resorts there. You know, this way people can travel that do not have a passport, okay? But motherfuckers, y'all do know that and then by next year, you need an enhanced driver's license to travel anywhere. And so it's just wiser to get a passport. The fuck? Right? I have a passport and a passport card. Right? So if you're going to travel, keep these things in mind. They are enforcing enhanced license for you to even travel. So even though I'm going to try to go to, you know, islands that don't require a passport, keep in mind that you still may need to get your enhanced driver's license. And if that's the case, baby, get it and get your fucking passport. Who the fuck don't want a passport? Okay, so that is my goal. Once we start planning that and getting that all out the way, we will start announcing the island, the resort that we're going to, or whatever. Oh, I love that, Hillbilly. I love that. You're gonna have a wonderful time. You're gonna have a wonderful, wonderful time. All right. And with that, y'all, I'm gonna send y'all off for the rest of y'all day. I gotta get ready for a meeting that's coming up about 10:30 or so, but I need time to prepare for it. But I appreciate y'all showing up on this hump day. All right. And remember, there's consequences to all of our actions. All right. And with that being said, I'm gonna send y'all out because you know what? Even when you feel low, you can still what?
Even when you feel low, you can still go.
Hey!
Even when you feel slow, you can still
what?
Go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Hey, this is Coffee with Friends, and I am Royalty Devo. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Move with peace and love. And remember, there's a consequence to all of our actions. Get this message on the way out. Hustle hard. Hey, I've been making moves.
Till I'm buried in my grave. Through the system, I don't wanna be a slave.
I've been doing shit my way on the highway.
And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I've gone through the climb.
Hey, what?
Every human bitch now, don't come hey. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain
anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's believe. What?
We'll see with the negativity.
But I just slide right by that energy. Hey.
Even when you feel low, you can still go.
What?
Even when you feel slow, you can still go.
Hey.
Even when there's no hope, you can still go.
I never answer to no man, I still go, and I fucking don't. I'm out, y'all. Peace and blessings. See you tomorrow.